Hi, my name is Regina and I'm the Senior Biologist for the Whale and Dolphin Conservation Society. And we're dedicated to the protection and the conservation of all whales internationally. What a lot of people don't realize is that whales actually include what we commonly refer to as dolphins and porpoises. All whales belong to a scientific order called Cetacea, and that's divided into two suborders depending on what they have in their mouths. What we refer to commonly as dolphins and porpoises actually are toothed whales. In my hand I have a skull from an Atlantic white-sided dolphin, which is the dolphin that we commonly see off the coast of Massachusetts. And you can see that it has teeth here, and all their teeth are basically the same size and shape, which is true for all toothed whales. These teeth are used for grabbing. They're not good for chewing like we have teeth in our mouth for. And so they actually chew their food with their stomachs. Whales, for the most part, swallow their food alive and whole. Something else that all toothed whales have in common is that they have a single blowhole opening visible on the tops of their heads. Whether it's pilot whales or Atlantic white-sided dolphins or common dolphins, you can only see one blowhole opening because they have the ability to echolocate. But if you look at the skull, what you can see here is that, like us, they have two nostrils. They're mammals just like we are, and they breathe air, and they have two nostrils in their skull. But because of that melon, which enables them to echolocate, they actually have two nostrils in their head, but only one opening on the top of their head. Now, the other kind of whale is called the Mysticete or the baleen whale, and rather than having teeth in their mouths, they have baleen. And baleen is different sizes and different colors depending on the whale it came from. In my hand here are 3 pieces of baleen that came from a finback whale. Baleen, this is a piece of baleen that came from a humpback whale, just one piece. Here is about 20 pieces of baleen that came from the smallest of the baleen whales, which is a minke whale. And right here is 1 piece of baleen that came from a North Atlantic right whale. And this is only 1 piece. There's about 600 pieces in their mouths. A baleen is made of something called keratin, which is the same protein that makes up our fingernails and our hair. So basically, if you're a baleen whale, what you have are 600 hairy fingernails that grow out of your upper jaw. But they're not used like fingernails, they're actually used like a colander. So if you like to eat pasta, you actually use something that's very akin to baleen. What this allows is the water to go through and keeps the pasta in the colander. Basically, that's all baleen does. It's a way for them to filter out water. They can't drink salt water any more than we can. It enables them to keep the fish or the plankton on which they're feeding. Now, most of the whales in our area are feeding on small schooling fish called sand lance. That's the primary kind of bait fish that are found in this area. And they don't get much bigger than this. A whale's throat is very small. It's only about the size of a volleyball. So they're eating thousands of these at a time and gaining somewhere between 4 to 7 tons during the feeding season here. Some whales, like the critically endangered North Atlantic right whale, actually feed even lower on the food chain, and all they feed on is plankton. And all these things that look like a single grain of rice in this test tube here are small individual animals. They're called copepods, and right whales eat about 4,000 pounds of these a day. The reason that they're here is to feed, but the reason that we get to see them here off the coast of Massachusetts is because we happen to be in an area where we get a lot of food. And so we're very fortunate. Where you went whale watching was out of Barnstable Harbor, and you probably ended up in some area here called Stellwagen Bank. Well, it's an underwater hill, you don't get to see it, but what happens underwater is pretty significant. The depths around the bank are 200 to 300 feet, but on the bank average only about 100 feet deep. And when waves and currents move along the ocean bottom, they actually bring up nutrients off the ocean bottom. And if you think of nutrients as being like vitamins or plankton or vitamins or nutrients for phytoplankton, what it does is it brings up that near the surface. And the phytoplankton, which are like tiny little plants that live in the ocean, they live near the ocean surface, and they use the sun's energy to photosynthesize. And between that and the nutrients, they produce oxygen for us to breathe. But they also produce a lot of food for the animals. And so zooplankton feeds on the phytoplankton, the fish feed on the zooplankton, the whales feed on the fish. So this is a very productive area, and why whales come here. Because it's an important area, not just for whales, but for lots of different kinds of marine life, it was also designated as a national marine sanctuary. The Whale and Dolphin Conservation Society is very dedicated to try and protect whales, not just because we like whales, but because they're really important for our own survival. Most of the air that we breathe is produced by phytoplankton, and whales play a very integral and vital role in the marine ecosystem. And so we want to make sure that we protect whales, not just because of them, but also for our own selves and our own future. We also want to thank you very much for whale watching, because whale watching shows that these whales are worth a lot more alive. And one of the things that we do is to try and prevent the hunting of these animals unnecessarily. And so we really want to thank you for being here today, going out and whale watching with the Hyannis Whale Watcher. For more information about the Whale and Dolphin Conservation Society, please visit our website at www.whales.org. And also for more information about what you can do to help, go to wdcsgoesgreen.org. And again, thank you for joining us on today's Whale Watch.
My name is Julianne Drozowski, and I'm going to be a marine biologist on board today. Captain today is Mike. He's going to be piloting the boat for us. He's one of the most experienced captains in the industry. They include Connor and Jake and Ricky. They're working in the galley of the boat. I'd like to order a copy of a trip DVD or a highlight DVD. She can help you with that at any time. Best to help you out. Both their physical form as well as their social structure. The baleen whales are the largest animals that have ever lived on this planet, and they do not have any teeth inside of their mouths, but instead what they have is what we call baleen. And Emma's going to be walking around in a few minutes with the baleen. She'll tell you a little bit about it and how it works. The baleen whales include some of the largest animals that have ever lived on our planet. Blowing ahead of us, or taking a breath. There's a line of humpbacks working this rib line here. So this group includes a whale named Storm, a whale named Spirit, a whale named Mayo, a couple others still here. That's a whale named Draco. Draco's a mature male. And that is Firefly. So all of these, let's see if they actually maintain this cycle. So they did. That is Draco and Mayo. Came up right next to us here at 9 o'clock. That was Spirit closest to the boat. They just went right under us. Right down that whale's mouth. The pink was the palate, or the roof of the mouth, the baleen hanging down. Valve is going to fall off the left-hand side.
Mamma, ce l'abbiamo qua, vieni. Vieni qua,
So you can see this group already changed. It went from 5 whales to 3 and 2. The other 2 are back at 8 o'clock, and then the trio stuck together. That's what we mean when we say they're very close associations that change all the time. 8, 9 o'clock. All right, watch for green. There's one double happening out at 1, but this other group should be closer to us. And it has quite a few whales in it. So we're going to just come in here very closely. You can see hundreds of birds are in the area. All of this good signs of the productivity. Do you see how that water looks green out there? That's what you're looking for closer here. So we have 2 groups that are feeding here. Get ready.
Get barnacles there too.
So this big group should bubble up together again. So this is a coordinated cooperative feeding. It's not something we see all the time where you have so many whales coordinated. I believe there were 7 here together. So we're going to see if this group sets up another bubble net here. It might take us a minute to figure out their pattern. Remember, the fish are moving. So the whales have to find that big patch. The fish are trying to live. Here it is, right next to us, 10 o'clock. Open mouth feeding. You got to look right into that whale's mouth. Looks like they grabbed the food below or being in that spot. Get ready at 3, 4 o'clock. come up, and you kind of see them pushing their head along the surface. What they're trying to do is get all the water out of their mouths. Remember, these are mammals like you are. You can't drink salt water, they can't drink salt water.
And so, yeah, we picked up some of the extra in there. Yeah.
I actually think both of our groups just combined, because now we have centipede and tongs. So we've got a bigger group forming here. This could be pretty big with all of them together. Make sure they're not running.
Get ready, get ready.
That, folks, is something you are not going to see every day. We're actually having a hard time counting the total number in each one of these surfacings because we're picking up more and more whales. This is incredible bubblelet feeding. Please do not ask me later if this was a good trip. I, in the most politest way possible, I'm going to walk away from you if you do.